More Chumba Casino fan mail. Love this. It says, Dear Ryan, I love Chumba Casino. They're so much fun. I love the wild ride from the social slots to the Slingo to jackpots quicker than a 6-time real spin. Everybody's finding their fun at Chumba Casino. Why don't you find out for yourself? Head to ChumbaCasino.com and enjoy hundreds of casino-style games for free with your welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
A common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
Has the general come on yet?
Yeah, and we have right now General John Teichert, Brigadier General. He was also, by the way, everybody, retired from the Air Force and also head of U.S. Space Force. So someone who certainly knows what he's talking about. General Teichert, what do you think this is, and what do you make of it now all over the place? And today the White House just came out, Kirby there, the spokesperson, saying they honestly don't know what it is, which is really disconcerting.
Rita and John, thanks for having me, and it is disconcerting. You can't say that you don't know what these things are, but then say, don't worry, they're not a risk or not a threat. You can't do that. You've got to acknowledge that these things could be a risk or could be a threat. And in fact, where they're flying over right now in the flight path of Newark International Airport, they're already a risk and already a threat. And the reason why people are thinking about taking up arms and shooting them down on their own is the federal government has completely lost credibility. Either they haven't been transparent or they don't have any competence in this matter. But this has been going on over New Jersey for weeks. It happened last month in bases in the United Kingdom and last year in a base in Southern Virginia. That the federal government is completely incompetent here. They're lackadaisical at best and negligent at worst. And we've got to get to the bottom of what is going on, because we've got to assume that if we don't know what's going on, these things could be a threat.
Well, General, they're all over the country now. I understand that they're in other places other than New Jersey. And
they're on the West Coast even. California, Oregon. We're hearing about also Baltimore. They're they're literally like scattered all over the place. And
on your educated opinion, what do you think?
My fear, John and Rita, is that just like the Chinese spy balloon or just like some probing activities on the ground outside U.S. military bases, that this is a foreign military actor that is just seeing how we're going to respond or how we would react. And it's been completely negligent or incompetent for the last several weeks. You know, the solution is pretty easy. We have tracking capability that can track the point of origin where these things come from or the point of destination where they land. And we should fully mobilize to those locations to get to the root cause of what's going on.
Why hasn't the Department of Defense just sent up a couple of, F-35s or whatever they want to and just do what they have to do?
Well, and so it's a combination of we do have the capabilities to take these things down if we want. Clearly, the federal government, starting with the president, has not given the authorities to the military to do so. But like I said, instead of taking them down one by one, you go to their point of origin or point of destination, and you find out at the root what is going on and who is launching these things and why.
That's the right answer. Go to the root of them, and we have the capabilities through our satellites to find out where they're starting from and where they're ending.
We do, exactly right. And all of the tracking capability should mobilize the federal government to do what they should have done weeks ago, or actually last year when this happened over the base in Virginia. And it is an embarrassment that we are allowing a violation of our sovereignty and the protection of our airspace based on a federal government sitting around twiddling their thumbs and wondering what they should do when the response is obvious in what a competent government should be doing.
Absolutely. Governor, you said Governor Patterson or Ed Cox, you had something to say?
So there are a number of reports annually about UFOs and that kind of thing. But I think what is really disturbing is that the increase just in the last, say, 45 days should ignite a reaction greater than what we are seeing from the government, who acts almost as if it's not happening.
Well, it's almost like the government is doing the same thing they've done at our southern border for the last 4 years, which is ignore the problem and assume it's going to go away, when the reality is a violation of our sovereignty on the ground over the southern border or via drones in the air. Those are equally bad outcomes, especially if an adversary is trying to decide what they want to do to harm us and see that we have no ability to respond to something as simple as swarms of drones that have been going over the United States to some extent for the last year.
Wow. Ed Cox.
So General, you've worked in the Pentagon. Who in the Pentagon is responsible for this? Or if it's not the Pentagon, does the president have to make a decision and tell someone, okay, you're responsible? Is the problem in the White House?
Well, the problem always stops with the president, but the government has indicated that the FBI has some responsibility. The Department of Homeland Security has responsibility. But for a real present threat to the United States, it's United States Northern Command and their 4-star general that reports to the Secretary of Defense and the president. And I have no doubt that NORTHCOM commander is going crazy trying to stand on someone's desk to get the attention of the president, to convince him that we need to do something far more active than just observe the problem and convince people that nothing is going on.
Yeah, you know what? By the way, Kirby, I was watching him today. I couldn't believe this. He actually said, General Teichert, that they don't have enough information. They're trying to figure out policy. Meanwhile, it's been going on for like a month now, and it actually was very disconcerting. It seemed like they were completely out of touch with it all.
I am so appalled by the dismissiveness of John Kirby in just to tell the American people, gaslighting all of us, that nothing's going on or don't worry about any of this, when it's pretty clear to the average American that unknown aerial activity over our country is a risk and a threat and something that needs to be handled by a competent government.
General Teichert, let me know if you know anything more. Text me anytime, and we'll talk again real soon. Thank you so much.
John, thanks for having me on, Rita.
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep us posted. Wow.